In this video, I'm going to share with you the top 4 strategies that companies are using to improve workplace culture and how you can benefit from it. Hey there, it's Patrick from LU Health. Now, if you're like me, you've been watching some choice movies, maybe reading blogs, articles, and watching the news and hearing all about fantastic environments that are popping up within companies and wondering, well, when is my company next? And you'll hear a lot about these awesome chairs, foos tables, ping pong tables, pool tables, lots of tables, maybe even sprinkled in a coffee shop or two. And these are amazing things. But if that's the only thing that you're getting, well, that's not really a company strategy about improving workplace culture. Things are changing in the workplace, and I will share with you 4 strategies that companies are using, as well as, if you stick around till the end of the video, I've got 2 more bonus strategies, as well as a story to tell you about my experience in my previous corporate life. So, let's get to it. Tip number 1, wellness. Yes, you knew wellness was going to come up. So, what is wellness? Well, is your company employing things such as maybe fitness challenges, those awesome push-ups during lunchtime, or the yoga lunch routine, things such as getting a nutritionist to come and speak at your office, maybe that annual health check at the office? Well, that's a part of wellness. And what the companies are trying to do is they're trying to improve your wellness so that obviously you can work better, be healthier, and be happier, which is fantastic. Now, I will tell you something. It doesn't really matter what the motivation behind the company is. If they are offering that, take full advantage of that. And in my career, I've come across 2 different types of people. I've come across people who have taken advantage of the benefits and wanted to get better, maintain their health, maintain their wellness, and others who just snubbed it and just thought, you know what, that's not really a program that's for me. And it's a little bit more old school thinking. Well, don't fall for that. It doesn't matter what the motivation is. As long as they're doing it, take the win and go with it. Tip number 2, mental health and crushing stress. Mental health has been a subject that has been extremely taboo, and it's awesome that it's getting the attention it deserves today. Now, how do we benefit from mental health policies at an organization? That could be something such as, allowing for quiet places, a quiet office where employees can go and retreat to, stress management workshops, policies that allow you to unplug and that are okay. And the vibe behind it is, it's okay to not be okay. Now, I'll tell you this. The stigma behind mental health is dissipating, but maybe it's not dissipating fast enough in your organization, or maybe you're just not comfortable with talking about mental health because we live on 2 sides of extremes. Well, try to put that to the side. The important thing here is, if you need the help, take the help. It's okay. Tip number 3, the magic of feeling valued. Now, if your organization is providing this to you, you've struck gold. Imagine going into a workplace where you feel valued for the work that you've done. The organization promotes open chats. It promotes people based off of merit. It promotes open dialogue. It genuinely cares about you and what you're doing without being fake. Unfortunately, sometimes what companies do, or sometimes how we view a company, is that they're doing this and they're just being very fake. Well, you could be right. There is a fine line between genuinely caring and making you think that they genuinely care. But you're in the best place to opine on that. I'm not going to opine on that for you. I don't know your organization. But what I can tell you is that an organization that values your voice is an organization that is actually stronger and better. It's all about creating an environment where, because of that feeling of value, well, you work harder, you're more productive, you're more motivated. But let's keep in mind something. At the end of the day, you should be able to also have some work-life balance. This leads me to tip number 4, the great balancing act. Well, work-life balance is something that we've been striving to achieve since the first day of going into work, right? You go into work, you do your work, you come back home, you try to work at home by being with your spouse or with your partner, with your children, with your dog, it doesn't really matter, with your loved ones, right? and there's never really the ability to achieve both. Well, companies are realizing and recognizing that that old way of thinking, that old way of doing things, it just doesn't work anymore. You know, with cellular phones and with technology, do we ever really disconnect? And in fact, I'll tell you this, in terms of working from home, that's not work-life balance. That just means that you're burning out in your PJs. So you have to make sure that you're also getting from your organization certain things such as PTO policies, flexible time. The organization is helping you juggle your to-dos like a boss, and the organization is promoting that you enjoy time off. It is important to log off at the end of the day, literally at the end of the day, so that you can recharge and come in refreshed the next day. Now, if you remember, at the beginning of the video, I told you that I'd give you 2 bonus tips as well as my story. Now, in terms of the tips, the first one is eat well, work well. It is proven that by eating nutritious and healthy foods that you are able to be more productive. Now, that's going to help you, and that's also going to help your organization, and that's okay. However, let's keep something in mind. I came from a generation where eating well also meant eating incredibly bland food. And given my cultural background, that meant eating things that I just did not enjoy. So that was the old days. Today, eating well and eating healthy also means that you can find good options that are tasty. So take advantage of those. So the organizations could be teaching you how to cook certain types of food or see the nutritional values of certain types of food. So get that education so that you know how to implement that both at work and at home. In my case, I did something small. I've done a few things, but this one was a small give on my part, in that I love French fries. And what I did was, I changed it from eating fries that are fried to going into the oven and they're baked. So that was a small change that I did, but that had massive influence on my nutritional journey, if you want. So that was my give. Why don't you, in the comments below, tell me what your give was? Tip bonus number 2, Serenity Now. So what is Serenity Now? Well, that's mindfulness. Now, I'm not asking you to be a tree-hugging hippie who's full of granola. Unless that's your scene and that's your thing, in which case, have at it. But what I am saying is practice mindfulness, such as box breathing, right? The 4x4 box breathing. Taking time to reflect. Taking meditation time. You don't want to hear meditation time, another person talking about meditation? Fine. Call it quiet time, call it me time, have fun at it. It doesn't really matter. But you know what? Even the best computer in the world needs a reboot once in a while. And once you reboot, you restart. And once you restart, you're refreshed. So in that case, practice that mindfulness. As I always say, your body and mind will thank you for it. So I promised you that I was going to tell you a story about one of my corporate adventures, if you want. So many years back, when my wife was giving birth to our first son, I was talking to people I was working for a very traditional, I was working in the banking industry, and I was talking to some of my colleagues at the time, and I was saying, well, are there any paternity benefits in the organization? And everybody was telling me, yeah, there is. Okay, great. So what are the benefits? And guess what they told me? Well, the benefits are there, but we really think that that's a career killer if you turned around and took paternity benefits. And in the organization that I had 6 weeks of paternity benefits. And, I was really young in my career. I was just starting out. So I decided I was still going to ask for it, because I believed in that and I wanted to be there, especially for the first few weeks. But I said, you know what I'll do? Instead of taking 6 weeks, I'll take 3 weeks. And I got a lot of, I'm sure you guys know those types of people. I said, fine, that's all right. I'll still handle it. I took off for 3 weeks. I came back and nobody cared. it didn't really matter. Some people thought I went on vacation, some people thought I took paternity benefits, but it did not slow me down or stop me in my career at all. Now, I don't tell you this just to tell you about paternity benefits in the banking industry and how that's acceptable. I'm telling you that because I want you to know that things change, stigmas change, and sometimes organizations, despite what we think, are a little bit further ahead than where we think they are. And we're just a little bit too gun shy to go and pull the trigger on certain types of benefits that could really help us out because we're worried about what will happen to our career. And the only thing that I can tell you is that burning a candle on both ends burns faster. So if you need the time, if you need the support, if you need the help, you need the organization to be there, take advantage of that. Those benefits are there for you to actually use. They're not there just so that there's a box checking exercise by the organization. So now you have all of these strategies that companies are employing to improve workplace culture. Now, these are not nice to haves. These are foundational. And as I've said before, take advantage of them. And in the spirit of the 5 cassettes or after hours, cheers to you and a healthier and happier office life. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and do leave us comments below on what subjects you would like us to tackle. And as long as we've got the subject matter experts, we'll definitely take care of that. Take care.